Imagine waking up tomorrow in a world where language doesn't exist. No words, no sentences, no names, no books, no text messages, no conversations. You can see people, you can hear sounds. But nobody can actually speak a language. How would you tell someone you're hungry? How would you warn them about danger? How would you explain an idea? For us, this sounds almost impossible. Language is so deeply connected to our lives that we rarely stop to think about it. Yet for most of human history, language as we know it today probably didn't exist. So what did ancient humans do before language? The answer begins millions of years ago. Long before modern humans appeared, our ancestors already lived in groups. They hunted together, traveled together, protected one another. To survive, they needed some way to communicate, but they likely didn't have complex words. Instead, they relied on something much older: body language. Even today, humans communicate using facial expressions, gestures, and movement. A smile can signal friendliness. A raised eyebrow can signal confusion. A pointing finger can direct attention. Ancient humans probably depended on these signals far more than we do today. Imagine a group of early humans preparing for a hunt. One individual spots an animal in the distance. Instead of saying, "Look over there," they simply point. Others immediately understand. No words are required. Gestures were powerful. A hand movement could mean, "Come here." Another could mean, "Stop." A different gesture could signal danger. Over time, groups may have developed their own shared signals, but gestures alone weren't enough. Humans also used sounds, not language, at least not yet, more like calls, cries, and simple vocal signals. Many animals communicate this way. Monkeys use different calls to warn each other about predators. Birds produce sounds that communicate danger or attract mates. Our ancestors likely did something similar. A specific sound might have warned of a nearby predator. Another sound might have helped gather the group together. These sounds were useful, but they had limits. You can point at a tree. You can make a sound to warn about danger. But how do you explain something that isn't directly in front of you? How do you describe yesterday or tomorrow? How do you share a complex idea? At some point, human communication began changing. Scientists believe our ancestors gradually developed greater control over their voices. At the same time, their brains were becoming larger and more sophisticated. This combination may have allowed more complex sounds to emerge. Instead of a simple warning call, people may have started using specific sounds for specific objects. A sound for water, a sound for food, a sound for fire. Nobody knows exactly when this happened. Language leaves very few fossils. Bones can survive for millions of years, words cannot. Because of this, the origin of language remains one of the greatest mysteries in human history. But most researchers agree on one thing: language probably didn't appear overnight. Just like evolution itself, language likely developed gradually. Generation after generation, communication became more advanced. Groups that communicated better had advantages. They could coordinate hunts more effectively. They could share knowledge more accurately. They could teach important skills to their children. This made survival easier. As communication improved, human societies became stronger. Knowledge could be passed from one generation to the next. Instead of each generation starting from scratch, information could accumulate. One person discovers a useful technique. They teach others. Those people improve it. Then they teach the next generation. This process helped humans achieve things no other animal could. Eventually, language became one of humanity's greatest superpowers. With language, people could tell stories, plan for the future, create laws, build civilizations, develop science, share ideas across continents. Everything changed. Yet what's truly fascinating is that all of this may have started with something incredibly simple: a gesture, a sound, a warning call, a pointed finger, before books, before writing, before speech as we know it. There were only small attempts to communicate, tiny steps that slowly grew into language, and those tiny steps transformed the history of our species forever. So the next time you send a message, tell a story, or have a conversation, Remember this. You're using a tool that took hundreds of thousands of years to develop. A tool so powerful that it helped humans conquer the planet. And it all began long before the first word was ever spoken.